That was our last award. I felt like it was truly victory for the women who have walked with me through this journey. When you actually fight for dignity, justice, and for a voice to be heard, the world listens.
You didn't realize that it was overpowering you as well, and you were taking it home, and that's when you felt like you should do some therapy to kind of deal.
More than the heaviness, I was angry, and I'm somebody who can't express my anger very easily because I don't get angry easily. I was determined that I'm not going to give up. But then I said, nobody's standing up for this. Nobody is standing up, and somebody needs to stand up. And when God has given you so much privilege, why not fight for something that can create ripples and make that change?
Kulsum, welcome to Let's
Thank you.
Talk. I'm so happy to have you here, and you just look outstanding as always.
Thank you.
Beautiful inside out.
Thank you.
You received an award recently at the House of Lords. Can you tell me about it, Kulsum?
That was our last award.
Yeah.
A month ago, and it was a very emotional moment because it was in such a beautiful historic space, and for something that we stand so strongly and we believe in. And I felt like it was truly victory for the women who have walked with me through this journey. And it's also a reminder, Devna, that when you actually fight for dignity, justice, and for a voice to be heard, the world listens. And if you're persistent enough, there is a huge change that could be made. And it truly feels like victory over violence. It's been slow, but I think we are getting there.
And Kulsum, you actually started this movement a while ago. Tell me about the origins of this movement.
So, Hotur Foundation actually has been quietly doing a lot of work in the educational space, in medical aid, maternity, infrastructure, and hunger. And my husband's been a visionary in this, where he's been taking care of a lot of initiatives through the foundation. He started the foundation. I was passionate about the women who have suffered violence because I had met a survivor when I was working very closely with disabilities. I was working with disabilities for over a decade, and I still do. But I choose not to speak about it much and speak about what I'm doing right now is because this cause needs that awareness. It needs the attention. It needs focus, and we need a community to actually stand up for these women, give them opportunities, and make sure that their voices are not silenced anymore, because bringing them into mainstream conversations is something very important, and that's what we are trying. And that's why I chose to come out with this publicly and not be silent about it, because my family chooses to be silent about the other initiatives they take care of. But this is something that needed attention, and I of course use fashion as well as a tool. So I think it was a really important decision which I made at the right time, and it's taken a long while to get here.
How many years has it been now, Kulsum, that you've been working with acid attack survivors?
14 years.
When you first decided to help these women who've been brutally attacked and are acid attack survivors, I mean, it's just so brutal to even think about.
Yeah.
The pain of it, emotionally, physically, in one moment, there is so much that's taken away from these women.
Life changes in a blink of an eye. Yeah.
How did you deal with it to start with? I mean, now it's 14 years, but it's a very dark and it's a very heavy world to be a part of, right? How did you deal with it initially? How did you work to uplift these women?
So initially when I got into it, it was very dark, it was very traumatic, and it was something I could not deal with immediately, but yet I knew this is what my calling is and I'm not going to give up. But every time I met them, Devna, I feel that there is no one more resilient than them. And honestly, each time they come, they laugh, they share their stories, I draw my strength from them every time. And sometimes there is a survivor. I feel like when she speaks, it's therapy for me. When I'm going through a dull moment or a dull day, I just sit with her and I let her speak and I keep continuing my work. It's actually therapy for me. So when I got into this, went through a lot of trauma myself, which I have no qualms about speaking today, and I have spoken about it earlier. I went through about 2.5, 3 years of depression, which I didn't know that it was depression. I would just cry for no reason, and I didn't know where that was coming from. I am spiritual, but I wasn't that spiritual at that point. But later, when I got into the depths of it, I realized that it was energy exchange, and I would take on this energy and I would take it back home, and it would affect my family. So I had to go through a lot of therapy, and I believe, and I strongly believe, even a normal human being should go through therapy, because like how you take care of your body, like how you take care of your fitness, I think mental health is so important. So I stress on the importance of therapy. So I went through therapy at that point, and I made my mess my message. And I said, let me talk about it and let the world know what happens when, a woman has been victimized, and what she's going through is not easy. It's just not easy, because what these men are trying to do is erase their identity, so that she no longer has the confidence, she no longer can be a part of any community. And I wanted to reverse all this. I wanted to reverse all the stigmas attached to this, because women feel that after going through this, they cannot get out of their homes, because they firstly feel that they are not beautiful, and secondly, they feel that they can't be a part of any space which involves fashion or beauty. And at times I always thought, will the world accept it, and will they accept something that's coming from so much pain and trauma into a world of beauty and luxury? Will they accept it? Will they embrace this? Because the kind of challenges, the kind of things that we were going through was not small. And everything, even for us, even when we come from a privileged background, there are so many things, there are so many restrictions which I had to go through, which I had to face to bring them in the forefront. So every step has been organic, and I wanted to fight this on my own. I wanted to bring their voices out and to be heard on public platforms, which is happening today. And I think it's truly
you've
being
taken
celebrated.
them to fashion's most celebrated platform, which is Milan Runway, one of the most celebrated platforms. Before we get to that, one more question on this, Kulsum, is that these women, the stories that they have, what stands out for you in terms of why are men inflicting this? What are some of the reasons that the men have said that they've done this to them?
You'll be surprised to know it's like the silliest of reasons. I have a survivor who was attacked because she didn't give her husband hot chapatis at 2 a.m. and he expected that, and she had just kept his dinner, and so he's alcoholic. They just come back, and that's the easiest way to harm a woman. So that's one reason. Like, mostly it's husbands who do it. Majority is husband, and secondly it's spurned lovers. And sometimes it also happens due to property disputes. So they do it for property disputes as well. And it's really tragic that sometimes there's a child. I know a survivor who was sleeping with a child, and he just threw acid on both the child and the woman. And the child was 1.5 years old then. Now he's growing up with so much deformity. It's so difficult to see it, because I'm even dealing with children who are acid attacked today, and it's so sad to see this. It's unimaginable trauma, which you can't even talk about it, because if I have to sit and talk about this to my friends or people who I hang out with regularly, they won't even imagine it, because it's a very dark world. And I feel the survivors are the real light in this dark world, because the kind of resilience they show, the kind of courage they show, it's unimaginable.
And you felt that when you first entered this space and you started dealing with these women, you felt some of that heaviness. You didn't realize that it was overpowering you as well, and you were taking it home, and that's when you felt like you should do some
No,
therapy
you,
to kind of deal with the depression that came with this heaviness?
I was angry.
Yeah.
More than the heaviness, I was angry, and I'm somebody who can't express my anger very easily because I don't get angry easily, and this was something that I was holding on to, and I was determined that I'm not going to give up, because everyone, whoever I met and whoever were concerned about me, they would say that you should never enter this space because it's dangerous for me. But then I said, nobody's standing up for this. Nobody is standing up, and somebody needs to stand up. And when God has given you so much privilege, why not fight for something that can create ripples and make that
Absolutely.
change?
In fact, you even had people like Shah Rukh Khan come into the fold and sort of give his voice.
Of course, we were a part of a video with Condé Nast for skin
Yeah.
banking,
Yeah.
which is very important and crucial for survivors. And he lent his voice to that, for which I'm very grateful. And that created a lot of awareness about skin banking and and how important skin is
So,
to
skin
donate.
banking is, if you can describe to
So,
us.
like how you donate your eyes, you
Yeah.
donate a skin,
Yeah.
and that skin saves. So, once you donate your skin,
Yeah.
it saves 5 survivors. So, they store the skin and they restore the skin, and then it can be used to give life to 5 survivors. Like how when you donate your eyes, you give sight. When you donate your skin, you give life to an acid burn survivor, which not many people know about. Skin banking is not that popular, but I've been speaking about it on all different platforms, and it's so important for a survivor when an acid attack happens.
Firstly, how many survivors now do you deal with? How many women?
Over 100 plus, like maybe 200, close to 200, because they're in different pockets in different areas in India, and we have taken care of many more, and not only acid burns, domestic violence survivors, all of these. But my focus has been on women who have lost their identity completely, and they need reconstructive surgeries, which starts with a 3 minimum, and it goes up to 36 plus, 40 plus, like innumerable plastic surgeries. So that's something that's really traumatic, because at that period a woman needs therapy, she needs attention, she needs it's basically a holistic approach where we take care of everything while she's going through this, to make sure that she's on the right path and she has the confidence and she feels secure enough to fight this journey.
The funding is yours, your foundation itself, or do you
Yes.
raise money?
My husband's been extremely generous, and of course we've had 2 foundations in the past who have joined hands with us, but my husband's been really generous. I should be very grateful to that.
Because I would imagine the cost of a surgery would be.
It's very expensive, because it's not just one, it's a couple of reconstructive surgeries which happens over a period of time. It's not
So
just
you're talking about sort of 30 to 40 lakhs for each survivor just on surgery.
it's just on surgery. It depends on how critical the burn is.
I understand. Taking it forward to an international platform, how could you even dream of doing this in Milan, in Italy? You know, the capital of fashion in so many ways. To take Ara is your daughter's name. So you started a fashion label called Ara Lumiere.
No, it was not because of her name. It's because it's called Crowning Glory. It means crowning glory, which means because we started with headgears, right? So, and then we got into apparel.
Yeah. And Ara Lumiere. Lumiere is obviously the light.
The light.
So you started with headgear, and these women were involved, in a sense, in terms of upskilling of these women.
Of course.
You decided to go to Milan. How did that conversation even happen?
So it's very strange, and you won't believe it when I say this, but sometimes the universe conspires, and this was truly conspired by the universe, because I was at a workshop. We started very small. So when I believe that when a human is given the right tools, I strongly believe, and when they are asked to stand on their own feet, incredible things can happen. And that's how Ara was born, at a therapeutic workshop. And it started with 4 5 women who we thought are really good at stitching. And they made some really beautiful headbands, headgears, and things like that. And honestly, I still didn't think, because some of them were doing that, some of them were making baskets, different kinds of things. Some of them were good at art. It's whatever they were good at, we were training them professionally, because I just wanted them to feel worthy, and we wanted to make sure that they are earning on their own. So at one such workshop, I just passed a statement saying, one day I will take you all on an international platform, not knowing myself what I said and why I said it. It was like some other force inside me said it, because today when I look back, I can't believe I get goosebumps, because I don't know why I said it, because I had no plan. Ara Lumiere was not even in the plan. I didn't have, it wasn't like I was dreaming of this. No, because God truly conspired. I believe if you have the right intention, if you have the right intention, God places you in a place where you are meant to be, and the right people find you. So it's just that I believe Milan is like, of course it was a dream when I was invited. It was because it was with the first few headgears what they made, and I couldn't believe it. It was a dream. It's the heart of fashion, and when I was invited there, I wanted the women to be the heartbeat. And honestly, it just happened, and they truly are the heartbeat of Milan.
What was the reception
Milan
like?
Fashion Week, I can tell you, they are the heartbeat of Milan Fashion Week. I can say this because the way they have been embraced there, the way they have been celebrated there, I don't think anywhere in the world anyone would have celebrated them, because when I count my blessings, I count Milan and my community there twice, and I'm grateful for it every single day, because when they are there, especially when I had taken them for the award, which we received, the CNMI Sustainable Fashion Awards, they were on the stage of Theatre Scala. So, and it was a dream come true, honestly. I was nervous on that stage, but these women, they weren't nervous. They spoke on that stage and they received the award. I was just watching everything, and because it was all about them, it was never about me. The brand is all about them, and the way they were embraced, celebrated, it was such a strong message to all the survivors that there is still hope and light in the end of the tunnel, and that even broken journeys can be celebrated so gloriously. There were tears, there was applause, and at the same time there was immense respect from all of them. So it was something that I believe it's heaven for women who I've been supporting. Milan has been, it's home for me, honestly.
I know you spend a lot of time there now.
Yeah.
And in fact, you're now doing pret.
Yes, yes.
And you've launched the pret line?
I'll be launching it in a month from now, not even a month, lesser than a month, in India, because Ara Lumiere was more Milan based, and mostly it's like art limited pieces. And I believe impact should be reachable and it should be accessible. So I just felt like this should be worn by a lot of women in India, and people should be able to access it, because it's not just wearing fashion, it's about telling a story of courage, of resilience, of power. And I want every woman in India to feel it and to be a part of the storytelling, because which is very deeply rooted with resilience. And I think I want my friends, the community in India, everyone to support this, because it's affordable luxury.
So you're giving those women, the survivors, a voice.
Yes.
And their voice will touch the women like us.
Yes.
And give us
I'm
a
looking
voice
forward to
as well.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm really eager and excited about this, because
Who's designing it for you?
we have a team of people as well, and of course the survivors are involved in the process, but we have a team of people and I overlook the entire thing.
Do you think you're going to be tying up with existing designers who are
I
doing
would
well?
love to, because most of them are my friends,
Yeah.
and I have collaborated with a lot of designers in the past, not only with apparel but even with art as well. So I do a lot of things with those spaces, I think, and even with makeup and beauty. We have collaborated with international makeup brands, and I think the future is bright, and I'm really looking forward to this because, Devna, I just feel this is the beginning. You know, when
Yeah.
people say that, oh, the survivors have achieved a lot and look where they are today, I just feel like we are just on the surface. There's still
Tip of
so
the
much more.
iceberg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's still so much more to explore.
So you're going to be launching in a month, and it's going to be predominantly India based.
Yes, all over India.
You love
Just
fashion.
India.
You love fashion, clearly. You're always beautifully dressed. And I'm sure being in Italy, fashion has always spoken to you, right?
Yeah, always.
Is that
I think
why you've
it's
used fashion? So first tell me about how
I feel fashion is something very personal to me, and I feel fashion. I think I celebrate my identity, my culture, my power, everything through fashion. And at over time, I realized it can be bridged and connected between two worlds. You can connect two worlds with fashion. So I used it to convey the messages of these women. I used it as a tool at that point because these messages could be so powerful. I used fashion as a tool at that point. And then I think it's also to tell stories that, you know, that the scars are beautiful, and the stigmas can be reversed, and style will always have substance, because fashion to me is my love language. I think it's advocacy and my rebellion, all three.
That's amazing, Kulsum. Really well said.
Thank you.
Style with substance, it being your love language, also being your rebellion
And my advocacy, for sure.
and your advocacy, because that's really where you're using it
Absolutely.
to the most effective that it's ever been. You know,
Thank you.
it's quite ironic actually to link fashion. I mean, when you think of it first,
You can't even think of it, right?
Fashion
Yeah.
with acid attack survivors, and then you understand when you're saying this how deep the connection actually can be.
And it is all conspired by the universe. I had no plan. I truly had no plan. I just used what I'm good at, I think, as a weapon, as a tool
Yeah.
to convey all these messages, because there's so many influential people in fashion who could make that change.
You feel
And
like people are ready to embrace impact through fashion now more?
there is definitely progress, but I think we are just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
Because, Devna, I feel inclusivity, when people talk about inclusivity, I don't think it's just about representation. It's about giving power, giving leadership to women, to people who have never owned it, giving them a voice, giving them a space, and letting them use their power to make a difference. I think we've not gotten there yet. So I keep pushing, I keep trying to make that change slowly, but I think we are inching there, and I think it's possible, because change always happens slowly but steadily, I think.
Tell me about the influence going to Milan has had on you. Like being the, I know you've learned the language. I know you speak Italian, right?
Yes, I've learned the language. I love it because, see, there's a community that I work with, not only work with, they are my friends. And these are all established designers. Most of them are established designers, artists, and the way they feel for my women, their openness, their love for them, the way they call me, check on them.
Yeah.
I think it's just something that I hold very high, because when a human being understands what those women have been through, and they
Yeah.
invest their personal time to make that change, I think there's nothing greater than that. And I feel this is where my place, I belong here, because I don't think anywhere in the world people come together at one space, especially during the elimination of violence against women, which happens in November. The entire community in Milan, everyone comes together near the square, and they fight for this. So each one feels very deeply about this. It's very important for them to fight for women who are suffering violence. And I feel God just took me to the right place. I was at the right place at the right time, and it's home for me now.
What was the reaction at the House of Lords when you were telling your story, when you received the Social Impact Award?
So not many people knew about these crimes that are happening. I met Lord Evans as well, and I was explaining to him about what happens and what women go through and what are the problems they are facing, and how I'm trying to bring this to the forefront. And they were quite surprised. Nobody knew about what skin banking is. Not many people knew what women are facing, because we are all living in a bubble. So, and we are living such fast-paced lives. Nobody has the time.
Yeah.
Nobody has the time to pause, slow down, and think. Unless it's benefiting us, we don't want to hear a story.
Yeah. But Kulsum, honestly, you do move in circles which are sort of quite elite in India, right? Celebrity circle, if you will, for lack of a better word. But your passion lies in a very different world. Sort of you fight for these women. This is where your passion is. This is what your occupation is. And then you're in this world which is elite, glamorous, celebrity driven. How do you juggle the sort of paradoxes of your life?
It was initially very tough.
Yeah.
And I used to think that, especially during COVID times, I happened to be in Dubai in the midst of COVID, and when I was here, I was fighting all of this, because so many of these survivors, they needed oxygen, they needed a support system. We created safe homes for them, and we were trying our best to secure them at that point, make a safe space for them where they all stay together as a community. And during that time, I remember I visited Dubai. Remember, we could all go to Dubai. Was the only place we could all visit. And I was in Dubai, and that was like a bubble where no one knew nothing that's happening, because India was facing so many challenges. In Dubai, it was a different world, and people really had no idea of what was going on. So every time I meet my friends, I make it a point to speak to them about this and to see a reaction, because you never know who joins me in this journey. Even if they don't join me, I still believe in sisterhood and how women cheer each other. You need it at times, like I love it when a friend of mine calls me and says that I'm proud of you and keep going, because there are times when it's so dark, and many times I want to give up. I want to give up because it's so difficult to juggle so many things, because there's always so much on my plate, and I'm always saying my cup runneth over. It's a good thing, but it's too much. And when your cup is so full, and you have so much to do, you really feel exhausted at times, and you feel like, okay, it's enough now. I think I need to give up, because sometimes it plays on you mentally as well. But then I see a survivor, I meet a survivor, and I see the transformation. I see what she's coming out to be from where she was and what she is today. And then I say to myself, no, this is not the time to give up. I need to keep fighting. And this has happened to me a couple of times, and I didn't give up. And I'm so happy I didn't give up.
And I guess when you dip into the other world that you live in, which is, your friends, your family, your travel, a glamorous life,
absolutely.
You kind of find solace there as well, right? Because you're kind of escaping into a hunky-dory world and a beautiful world, a popcorn world, which I guess maybe helps you deal with.
I don't know if it helps me deal with it, because I'm a very restless soul, and I'm always searching for answers, and I have a lot of questions in my mind all the time. not many people know this about me, but I'm always on the lookout for what do I need to do next to help them. What is coming up next? Like, how can I use my privilege to benefit this? And for me, it's never about myself.
Yeah.
It's never, because I have dedicated my life to this, and I always place this ahead of me. Even if I'm going for a fashion show in Milan, these are shows I would never fly down to just watch a fashion show. I'm attending the show because I'm associated with the brand, or I'm seeing some benefit for the women, or they are supporting the women in some way, or I've been a part of that community. My friends always tell me in Milan, I'm constantly working and always hustling. I never take a break. I never feel like, okay, now I need to calm down. I'm on a holiday. I can't do it. I start feeling restless. I feel like I'm not doing enough. I think, and I feel like this entire responsibility is on me. And my therapist always says that to me, that, calm down and take a break and just disconnect. That disconnect has still not happened. And I've been asked to do it in the next month, which I don't think is going to happen. I actually just spoke to my therapist yesterday, and he said, you need to disconnect completely for a bit, because sometimes I'm doing too many things, and it just takes the
It's
life.
overwhelming.
Yeah, it takes
It's
the life out of
overwhelming.
me sometimes,
Yeah.
which reflects in
and
different
there's a lot of
places.
anxiety
Yeah,
that comes
exactly.
in with being overwhelmed.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And taking a step back is something women haven't really mastered yet,
Mastered, and I
or
think
haven't allowed themselves to do.
yes,
To just take
exactly.
a step back for themselves, take some time off from sort of making community around them, whether it's spouse, children, the cause they work for, everything else
I've learned to
sort of.
balance it a bit now. I've learned to balance it, but I'm always looking for ways how, there's so many different things I do with the survivors. It's not just fashion. There's so many different ways, because like I'll tell you, I do these workshops, and I invite my influential friends to come and speak to the survivors, so that they can empower the survivors, and the survivors go, and we get some new ideas on what we can work together with. But most of the times when these people come in, they get inspired and walk out. So because the women are so resilient, and the kind of courage they show, my friends always say, what are you living with? This is a dream, to even interact with such women, you learn so much.
I think
And
women in India,
yeah,
they struggle a lot at different levels
yeah,
with different obstacles. Of course, this is a totally different challenge that women face when they've been attacked like in this way. But I think resilience is a great word for women in India.
absolutely.
They shoulder everything, and they take responsibility, and they carry it very lightly. And actually, it's a very heavy burden.
Very heavy burden.
Tell me about any one story that has been uplifting for you, for a woman that's come far.
So, the most transformative and uplifting story for me is one of my first survivors who I met. Her name is Maria, and she's not only a survivor. I don't call her a survivor, because, when I look into the eyes of these survivors, I don't see victims.
Yeah.
I see fighters. I see people who are fighting day and night for everything that they want to stand for, and they are unable to do it. So she was somebody who couldn't look into my eyes, who couldn't speak to me in a closed room. And today she's not only an artist, she's a muse, and she's also a speaker. So the last workshop we had, I didn't call any influential person. I asked her to be the motivational speaker, and she got 3 other women who she's been speaking to regularly as speakers, and they motivated the survivors. And I think it was the most transformative workshop and transformation I've seen in a long time. And I was so proud and happy that this has happened. I think there's so much more to do, and so much more we can give to these women, that as a community we can truly celebrate giving on a larger platform.
Have you enlisted the use of celebrities outside of Shah Rukh to help further the cause? Because at the end of the day, unfortunately or fortunately, however you look at it, that is one way to push a cause in this country?
I feel yes, it is, but I see it very differently.
Yeah.
I feel it's not a long lasting approach.
It's not. You're right.
We need more people who are helping on a regular basis, who are, because honestly, what a survivor needs is love and care. It's just not that they want to be in the spotlight for that 1 minute. It's not that. They need love and care and attention. If you just spend that one evening with them or 1 hour with them, it can be totally transformative for them in such a large way, which people fail to understand. And they feel like, okay, just spending some time with them, coming, taking some pictures is not enough. Actually, most of the time they get offended and they feel like, okay, people just want us for pictures. They don't want to spend time with us. That's it. Because they are sensitive towards this.
Kulsum, your kids must be proud.
Of course, they are my grounding force.
Yeah.
And I feel they've seen this entire journey. They've heard stories and they've seen the impact. And I always
But do you
tell
fear
them,
that, when you have young kids, because they've been growing up around this with you now, not obviously you've probably shielded them from
yeah, they've
certain
met the
certain
survivors
things, but
and I've exposed them in a very gentle way.
Yeah.
And I always tell them that strength can be in different forms, and they need to see this, they need to witness this, because this is what I'm doing in schools. I've done it in their schools as well. I go and speak and tell the kids, educate the kids, and that these women are not born with these scars. This has happened to them and they should respect them. Because I had an incident when a woman treated a survivor really badly, where she just closed her daughter's eyes so that she doesn't see the survivor. I mean, it was something that left a scar on her. I mean, it's just so sad. So I feel like, I tell my kids that there are different forms of strength, and kindness is just not an option. It's a way of life. You need to adopt it in your everyday life, because I feel beyond all your titles and everything, I mean, you should see human potential, and kindness is something we must embrace, because it's the most beautiful form of love.
so now you're launching Pret
Yeah.
in a month under the name Ara,
Yeah, it's called Ara Pret.
and how will you distribute, how will you market?
So I will start off with different cities, and I'm still looking at how I'm going to market it and how I'm going to position it, because it will happen in the next month, and people are excited to see it. It's really come out well. So
I have no doubt, Kulsum,
Thank
you are, you always achieve excellence.
no, I
in
also feel
in any
it's
sort of
the-
way that you try. So, because I think you put your entire heart and soul behind what you do, and it's very authentic.
And I feel the survivors have the backing of the universe and God with them always. God is always with them, and our intentions are pure. So I don't even have a doubt that it's not going to succeed. It will, because it's got pure intentions.
God and Kulsum.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kulsum. This was so enlightening.
Thank you so much
And
for
you've
having
left
me.
me with so much to think about.
Thank you. Thank you, Devna.
Thank you. And I love your strength and your resilience as a human being as well.
Thank you. It means so much.
Thank you.